Good afternoon. It's about 2:30 on some Thursday, and this is RCR's new camera car. We haven't really had when a video will come out reviewing a third gen 4Runner, I don't know, but I'm happy to have you along with this ride. We have in the trunk 4 new tires from Cosmo Tire. They're the El Tigers. Cosmo Tire, the only car company whose mascot is a furry. They're all right. I'm sure you could draw all the furry porn you want of their mascot, and they just roll with it because they're cool like that. So thank you, Cosmo, for some fresh rubber for Susie. Yeah. This third generation 4Runner is named after the one character from Deltarune because she's a tank and she's always hungry. You know, I used to complain about the fuel economy I got in my Forester. That ain't nothing compared to a 4Runner. I was talking to people who own third gens and they say, well, yeah, like if you drive like an asshole, you're gonna get about 15 miles per gallon. And if you drive a 4Runner really carefully, you'll get about 18 miles per gallon. So just kind of drive it however you want. It just goes. And it's not fast. The Forester was faster than this. But we have that glorious roll down rear window, so now we don't have any reflection from glass when we're filming along the highway. We can go off-road. If we have an off-roader car, the 4Runner will handle that. And also, I'm going to drive this car for 10 years. As long as I don't wreck it, this will last another 10 years. Also, I was able to find, it's not rust-free because this was an East Coast car, but this is a 2000 Toyota 4Runner SR5, and I bought it with 75,000 miles on it. So I can go another 200,000 miles with a car like this, as long as I just keep up with the maintenance. It'll be fine. Frame's another matter. That was the big thing, undercoated, not undercoated. The frame is painted and someone painted the underside of this car. I was talking to my friend Ben and he heard from other people that says, look, I mean, once the car has seen snow and ice, it's game on at that point. The only time you should really think about, you know, undercoating or stuff like that was when the car was new and fresh, because the idea was once moisture gets in there, it's in there now. There's no way you could really dry it out, I guess, unless you parked this thing in Arizona for like an entire year and it never got wet. And got every single bit of moisture out of the frame and out of the body, then maybe you could undercoat it then. Who knows? So I'm not going to worry about it. This is quieter than a second generation Forester. Even though it's a truck, everything seals up really nicely. It doesn't, 68 is really all the faster it feels like going. Now maybe that's down to these old tires, because I think these tires are from like, this is a 2000 model year. These tires may have been from like 05. Because this 4Runner sat for a long time. It needed some new bushings, it needed some new exhaust gaskets, it needed a new starter. Obviously, it needed a new battery. I replaced the tape deck head unit. Because even I still have it in a box, so I'll still keep the stock head unit in a box somewhere. But this is from an era where you put a CD in and you drive over railroad tracks and your song skips. So at first it was a novelty to have the original CD player and use it, get out my old mix CDs and play them, but drive over a bump and it's like, and I'm like, okay, well that's the end of that. So I put in the cheapest head unit I could find on Crutchfield, which is a Jensen at $49.99. No CD player. I have a USB, I have an aux jack, and I have Bluetooth. And you'd be like, you know what, it's fine. I did have a problem with like a ground loop problem where I heard the alternator through my speakers. And the only sort of there I fixed it way of like stopping the ground loop without I'm not good at electrics at all, was just to mount this head unit with nylon bolts, nylon fasteners. So this head unit here is isolated. So the ground loop problem is still there, but I don't hear it anymore because technically this thing is like floating now. There's no actual metal to metal touch of the housing of that head unit in there. I have 3 power outlets, including the cigarette lighter. So I don't know, if we do a long road trip when you have lots of accessories and need to charge stuff, we're golden there. Heater's amazing. Right now the blower motor is off and it's just venting heat into the cabin. And it's cool now to be back on Team Toyota, and that the only 2 cars that I own, my Toyota Serra and this, I own 2 Toyotas now. And they're both like within like 5 years of each other. I have excellent visibility because this is 3rd gen, so it was designed in '96. The 3rd generation 4Runner went through like 3 major changes. The first one I believe was in 2000, and that's where you got cup holders down here instead of a flip out one up here. The center console was changed a little bit. And then I believe in 2001 or 2002, the chrome bumpers went away and in replaced was plastics. And it also got a fake hood scoop that I guess, I don't know, does something maybe if you're like off-roading in the summertime and you're in low range all the time, and I guess you need some way to have extra heat get out of the engine bay. I don't know. I have used this in the snow. It drives very differently than a Subaru in the snow. A Subaru is ready to play in the snow. You can neutral drift, you can spin around in a circle, and then when you're done, it turns back into a billy goat. This thing is a mammoth, a woolly mammoth in the snow. If you're in 2-wheel drive, it'll just spin. You know, it's tail happy, dangerously tail happy. It's just sliding around because it's acting like a 2-wheel drive pickup truck in the snow with nothing in the bed. Although this, of course, is a little bit more weight because it's an SUV. But it's still in 2-wheel drive in the snow. Put it into 4-wheel drive, like I will do now. Actually, no, don't want to do it now. I'm just above 50 miles an hour. The manual says never use 4-wheel drive above 50, and you can't shift into it, or shouldn't shift into it, at 50 and above. You got to be going slower than that. So now we're going 60. So okay, chunk, I'm now in 4-wheel drive, and I'm in the snow. Now it understeers all the time. This thing in 4-wheel drive 4-wheel drive high, doesn't want to play in the snow. It just wants to charge ahead, possibly due to the weight. So I found that the way to drive this thing in the snow is just drive it normally, just slower, and it'll just chug ahead. So I'm eager to see what these new tires will be like in the snow. I do have a bit of a shimmy at about 60 miles an hour. I did have this car aligned, and it still has a little bit, enough that my phone shakes. And I'm doing what you always do in a 4Runner, is fill up in gas. So here we are at Wawa. So hopefully that was down, the shimmy is down to these tires being old and maybe just having flat spots. We'll figure that out on the way back. So now we're going to cut to Justin Kramer. You know him from the channel Fuel Injection Sucks. At his shop, Catasauqua Auto Repair, and let's get some new shoes on this truck.
All right, I see a little rust here on the body mount. This diff looks like it's been painted.
Yeah, well, they definitely undercoated it or something. They undercoated like everything.
I see bubbling here on the cross member. We got a little bit of rot going on here.
Oh, that's just your running board, though.
Oh, okay. It's interesting, the running boards don't really make contact with the body at all. They're just like there, bolted to the frame, and then they hang down. I've been using them though when I get in and out, so I don't squash the bolstering on the seat.
Yeah.
Interesting that this brake line or whatever does this ooh thing going on right there.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be.
Is it like that GM thing where the brake lines go in that kind of circular?
Yeah, but I don't know why it would do it there. Weird.
Don't know if this is road grime or something leaking.
That's leaking something.
Yeah.
Engine oil.
Yeah. All right, so we have a leak, but from where?
You don't really see it too good because of the skid plate. Oh, the rack's leaking.
Oh.
That's one thing.
Okay.
See right here.
Right there.
Yep, it's coming out of the boot.
All right, so new steering rack, if I can maybe procure one way or another.
The engine doesn't look too wet.
All right. So they pointed out to me like this one tire on here is from the year 2000, and I drove to Pittsburgh on it.
That's fine.
The other ones are the other tires that are on this were from 2017 and 2015. Welcome to the ride home. Let's have some power. Yeah. Get everything I can out of this V6. Merge. There we go. Don't need power anymore. All like ECT is all that does is raise shift points. So, tires, good. Let's see if, yeah, I don't feel any jiggle. We're going 64. Let's get this thing up to where we got the jiggle. See, I'm on these Pennsylvania cement slabs. I'm at the section of Interstate 78, Route 100. Yeah, all right. Much better balance. They don't have flat spots on them. I won't feel so bad next time I have to drive to Pittsburgh. So yeah, Cosmos, smooth tire. I'm gonna cut to some time-lapse footage since there's nothing really to see here at night. There we go, that's better. So I was a little bit bummed out. Then we were at the shop. I saw that the steering rack was leaking, and which, you know, isn't a huge deal. Just keep an eye on your power steering fluid, and at least Justin told me that it's not a big deal to replace the rack on a 4Runner or Tacoma. They just come out. I think maybe at most you have to take the skid plate off. There's a bit here where everybody just let's cut back to this night shot here. This is a bit on Interstate 78 where everybody moves and jukes, and once you get past Route 100 you're fine. Here's everybody going to their nice condominiums that live down there. No one merging. Okay, I'm gonna get back in the slow lane. Nope, guy right there. Sorry. That's why I always head check. You better not merge right into me. Woo! We're gonna have some nice weather coming this weekend for filming. I mentioned on Twitter that I am looking for a video editor, so I can free up time for myself during the week and also not have to slam edit videos for an entire week before I go away to film for a week somewhere else in the country. As of now, I'm talking to Joe Ligo. You know him, he made an AMC documentary about the Pacer. I think he's at 1 million or 2 million or something with his video there, and he also helped Nick Roman out for our, for Nick's Life and Death of AMC. So as of now, I'm probably going to go with him if he's not too busy. I and I deleted all my submission emails out of my email folder because now we're using the form on regularcarreview.com, which goes through OmniSend. So I deleted all my submission emails from my Gmail folder. That was 60 gigabytes. I had 10,000 unread emails of cars, and all the data just comes from all the pictures people send me. But since we switched to OmniSend and you go through the form now, if you want to submit your car to Regular Car Reviews, it's much more efficient for me. So now that, yeah, compression braking. So that means when we come up to our video, when I have to source cars for Portland, I need specifically to find, because we don't have if anybody is in Oregon or Washington State, I believe we don't have a section on my end for me to specifically search for your cars there, so I may have to make a video just saying, hey, if you're in Pacific Northwest and feel like driving to the Portland area, what do you got? Email me at regularcarreviews@gmail.com. So, but that'll be, you know, next month when we start lining up probably 4 cars in the Pacific Northwest area. So this Forester, and I realize that we're at night and you can't see the interior. I gotta add some more videos so you can see the interior of this car. The interior's mint, man. It is so nice to be in here. The ride of a 3rd gen is bumpy, but there's enough suspension travel that the bumpiness doesn't get translated into the camera as it films the car. Very interesting, because this is still a short wheelbase truck. And we're slowing down here. Why? 4 ways on. Wake up, everybody behind me. Don't hit me. There we go. Box truck. So that wraps up my Wednesday. My Wednesday was writing the week after next review with Nick, and then immediately I drive to Catasauqua, and I'm willing to drive an hour out of my way to go to a shop that I trust, because that is the value of a good mechanic, and Justin Kramer is a great mechanic. So thank you to him. Thank you to Cosmo Tires for giving us some good rubber that's going to translate into good footage for you guys to watch. Thanks. Have a good night. Bye.